Information graphics. So this presentation is meant to be an introduction to presenting a graphical point and a little bit about the history of information graphics. So in the beginning we had petroglyphs. They are really the beginning forerunners to both visual and visual journalism. So these were very elementary symbols and pictures. Here are some examples. So they kind of existed in the caves, Paleolithic to Neolithic eras, somewhere around 35,000 to 4,000 BC. And these cave drawings had several different purposes. One being potentially to decorate their home, which is their cave. So they like to have some nice environment, some nice aesthetics around them in the cave. They also believe that these petroglyphs were created or drawn to honor beasts or prepare training rituals. So they were telling a story with these pictures. And what eventually happens is these petroglyph or the petroglyphic symbols become more and more simpler. They become more stylized, and they evolve into then separate communication forms, which leads us to our alphabet. Okay, so the alphabet began to appear when symbols got so simple and stylized that they became associated with sounds. So the Egyptians actually combined the Sumerian letters and their own pictures to form what we would call hieroglyphics, and this was quite a bit of a jump back from the petroglyphs in the caves that we saw earlier. So let's fast forward quite a bit. All right, so this is kind of the beginning of really how we used symbols and pictures to communicate message. We'll look at some of the pioneers of pictorial representation. So there were quite a few here, and these were people who really used this sort of picture representation not only, as a pictorial kind of element, but then also as a quantitative data that for like graphs and charts. So they were showing, they were really mixing the text with the images. So we have some names here that you maybe do recognize. Leonardo da Vinci used a lot in his notes, a lot of pictures with text. René Descartes, who was the developer of geometry, also, and you can see that we've got sort of this picture with some text in there to communicate a message. We also have Newton, and again in his notes we can see a lot of this mixture of handwriting and illustrations. So it was actually all going really well. These people were incorporating both text and images, and then along comes Johann Gutenberg, and he develops the printing press. And what happened when he developed the printing press is now we sort of took a step backwards, because now text and graphics can no longer really coexist. And so with the printing presses, initially we physically separated pictures and text. Okay, so this was around the 1400s. Gutenberg lived from 1400 1468. Fast forward about 300 years, and now we have William Playfair, and William Playfair actually created infographics, information graphics, and he published them in the Commercial and Political Atlas in 1786, and this was in London. And what he did in this publication was included 44 graphics, things like line or fever charts and bar graphs. And so now once again we're able to see text and these infographics again coexist.